Seguridad en Cristo Jesús, gloria prevista con paz y gran luz. Yo fui salvado, Dios me compró, y por su sangre Él me lavó. Gloria cantemos al Redentor, que por nosotros vino a morir, y que la gracia del Salvador siempre proteja nuestro vivir. Su misión grande, gozo total, visiones santas, la falta del mal. Ángeles bajan y traen paz, ecos de gloria, muy gran solaz. Gloria cantemos al Redentor, que por nosotros vino a morir, y que la gracia del Salvador siempre proteja nuestro vivir. Su misión grande en el amor, contentos vamos con el Salvador. Buscamos siempre la salvación en la bondad de la redención. ¡Coro! Gloria cantemos al Redentor, que por nosotros vino a morir, y que la gracia del Salvador siempre proteja nuestro vivir. All right, so welcome once again to our first Spanish class. You can go ahead and have a seat, Iris. And we're going to go ahead and start learning. Now, for the first few weeks, we're just going to focus on pronunciation. Each week, the format of the class is going to be, we're going to sing a hymn at the beginning, more just for fun than anything, and to get you some practice reading Spanish. And then we're going to learn a memory verse each week, a Bible memory verse from the Spanish Bible that you're going to memorize throughout the week. And then there are going to be 10 vocabulary words that you're going to want to memorize throughout the week. And then there are going to be, there's going to be one grammatical concept that we learn each week that you're going to want to memorize and learn. But for the first few weeks, we're just going to focus on pronunciation. Before we get into any grammar, we're just going to be learning the pronunciation. Come on in. We're just going to be learning the pronunciation for the first few weeks. So I'm going to start at the bottom of your handout, and we're going to go through the pronunciation right now. That way it'll help us when we, go ahead and get them a handout. That way it'll help us when we go through the vocabulary list and the verse. We'll have some of these rules in mind. Now, these are not all the pronunciation rules. We're going to learn different rules next week. But these are just the ones that you want to memorize this week and get these down. So the first one is that H is silent. Okay, the letter H in Spanish is not pronounced. It's silent. So look at the first word on your vocabulary list. That word is pronounced not hola, okay? It's hola. Because the H is completely not pronounced. So to say hello in Spanish, say it out loud.
Hola.
Hola. All right. Now, the next rule there, it says Z sounds like English S, okay? So when you see a Z, you're not going to say Z, you're going to say S, an S sound, okay? So look at the verse. Look at the word that's right under the reference. See that word? Lanzados, okay? So it's not lanzados, it's lanzados, okay? It's a Z, sounds like an S sound, okay? The third rule, D does not sound like a D in English. It sounds like the TH sound in the word the, okay? Not the hard TH like thank you, no. It's the, okay? Now, and by the way, this pronunciation that we're learning, obviously people pronounce Spanish different all over the world. This is how people from Mexico, Arizona, and California speak Spanish. That's what we're concerning ourselves with. Mexico, Arizona, California dialect. So the D sounds like the TH in the word the, okay? So look at the word, for example, usted. It's not usted, it's usted, right? The. So everybody say the word the. The. Okay, so that's the same. Now look at the first word of the song we just sang. Seguridad. Dad. You got that? Seguridad. Not seguridad. 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 You got that? So the D sounds like the TH in the word the, okay? Now the vowel sounds. Here's the great thing about Spanish. Spanish is spelled exactly the way it sounds. Exactly. Now in English, we have spellings that can say all manner. For example, if we were to take the letters O-U-G-H, okay? This combination right here. In English, that could be pronounced of in the word enough. It could be pronounced O as in the word though. It could be pronounced off as in trough. I mean, on and on. You could go on, and this can be pronounced many different ways. Well, in Spanish, things are always pronounced exactly the way they're spelled. So that makes it very easy to read in Spanish. The rules that I'm giving you right now, there are no exceptions to these rules in Spanish. It is written exactly the way it's pronounced. So the vowel sounds are always the same. Like in English, the A can make an A or an A or an A or an In Spanish, it makes one sound, ah. Okay? These are the vowel sounds. I want you. I'm going to say them one time, and then we're going to repeat them. Okay? Ah, A, E, O, U. So look down at the list of the 5 vowels there. Okay? Ah, A, E, O, U. Let's say it again. Ah, A, E, O, U. Now, in English, these vowels make those sounds. You know, one of the sounds that A makes in English is sometimes A. Sometimes E makes the A sound. Sometimes I makes the E sound. But in Spanish, that's all it is. And you just have to memorize those 5 vowels. A, E, O, U. It's just, you have to memorize that throughout the week. A, E, O, U. And that's it. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about accents. Now, here's what an accent is. I can pronounce a word in different ways with a different accent on different syllables. It's going to sound different. For example, let's think about the word TV. Right? Now, I realize that that's 2 letters, but we pronounce it as a word. Where do we put the accent when we pronounce the word TV? On the last syllable. We say TV. Now, if I hey, I got myself a TV. See what I mean? It doesn't sound right. A TV. You have a TV? It doesn't sound right. It's TV. You got that? Or if I was to say dictionary, where is the accent in the word dictionary? The first syllable, right? Dictionary. Dictionary. It's not dictionary. Yes, I have a dictionary. See what I mean? Or a dictionary. So it's very important where you put that accent in a word. You can think of all manner of words. Baptist. Where's the accent? First syllable. Baptist. It's not Baptist. I'm a Baptist. I go to a Baptist church. So, does everybody understand what an accent is? Okay. In Spanish, there are rules. In English, you just have to learn each word on an individual basis, pretty much. But in Spanish, there are rules that always govern where the accent goes. So whenever you look at a word in Spanish, even if you've never seen or heard that word, you can know with certainty how to pronounce that word because there are no exceptions to these rules. The accent falls on the second to last syllable when the word ends in A, E, I, O, U, N, or S. So if it ends in a vowel, or the letter N, or the letter S, the accent's going to fall on the second to last syllable. Okay? And if it ends in any other consonant, B, C, D, anything else, it goes on the last syllable. Okay? Everybody understand that? But then look at the next rule. It says the accent marks override the normal accent rules. Okay? So look up at our vocabulary list, and let's go ahead and pronounce these with our rules in mind. Okay? We know that the first word there ends in an A. Therefore, the accent is going to fall on the second to last syllable, which would be the what? The O. Okay? So that word is going to be pronounced Ola. Not Ola, but Ola. So let's say it as a class. Ready? Ola. Ola. That's how you say hello. The next word also ends in a vowel, so it's going to be pronounced como. Everybody say it out loud. Como. Alright? Then the third word has an accent mark. These accent marks are for words that violate the rules, and so they override the normal accent rules. So that's what I'm saying. You can look at any word and know how to pronounce it, because if it ever varies, they put that accent mark. So this word is going to be pronounced esta, not esta. Okay? Because remember, our vowels make what sound? A, E, O, U. So it's going to say esta. Everybody say it out loud. Esta. So we have hola, como, está. Okay, the next word ends in a D. So where is the accent going to be in words ending in a D? Last syllable. Because the only ones where it falls on the second to last are vowels, N, and S. Any other consonant, it falls on the last. So it's going to be usted. And remember that D sounds more like a TH and a the? So it's usted. So far, let's go through the list again. Hola, como está usted? Okay? Now, the next word, muy. Now, we're going to come back to that one. I'm going to explain to you why it's pronounced that way. We're going to get back to that because that's the last rule that we're going to go over. We're going to skip the next word, bien, as well, because it follows a different rule. Let's look at the word. Actually, you know what? We better do this rule because all the rest of them have pretty much diphthongs. Look down at your pronunciation rules, the last rule, and we're going to learn about diphthongs. Okay? That word there, don't let that word bother you. Diphthongs. That's two vowels in a row in Spanish with no accent mark. Okay? So we have two vowels next to each other with no accent mark. This is known as a diphthong. Diphthongs are combined and run together into one sound. Okay? So for example, let's go up to our list now. Let's look at the word bien. Okay? It's not bien. Okay? Because you know how we count the last syllable and the second to last syllable? The diphthongs only count as one syllable. Okay, you got that? They combine into one sound. So this word only has one syllable. And the I and the E sound are run together into one. So it's not bien, okay? It's bien, okay? So it almost sounds like a Y sound because you're running them together so fast. The EA, yay, yay. Got that? Because think about it. Save the sound for the letter I in Spanish. E, right? A. But if you run them together, it sounds like what? Yay. Got that? So this word is pronounced bien.
Bien.
Bien. Okay? Bien. Now look at the word gracias. Okay? Now, the accent's going to fall on the second to last syllable because it ends in an S. Okay? But that second to last syllable is not the I. Because the I and the A go together to form a what? A diphthong. Okay? And so the accent's on the second to last syllable. The last syllable is the IA diphthong. Okay? The second to last syllable is the first A in the word gracias. Okay? And the I and the A are combined into one sound. You got that? So it's pronounced gracias. 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 Say it out loud. Gracias. Gracias. Okay? Now look at the next word. Now, when we learn nouns in Spanish, we always learn it with the word the in front of it. Okay? Some words use the word el for the, and some use the word la. And we're going to get into that in a future lesson. So we're learning it with the word the in front of it. So the word hell, okay? How are we going to pronounce this? You see a diphthong, okay? First of all, let me ask this question. How many syllables does the word infierno have in it? How many syllables?
4.
It's not 4, it's 3. The reason why it's 3 is because 2 of the vowels go together to form a diphthong, okay? So we have the infierno. That's your 3 syllables, okay? Now, which syllable is the accent going to fall on in words ending in a vowel? Second to last, which is which combination of letters? The diphthong, right? So to pronounce this word, we're going to say el, not el, but el. Remember the A-E-I-O-U? El infierno. El infierno. Let's say it out loud together. El infierno. Infierno. El infierno. Okay, and then the last word on the list, la, and then see that diphthong? How many syllables in the word muerte? 2 syllables, all right? Which syllable has the accent according to our rules? Second to last, right? Which would be la muerte. La muerte. Say it out loud. La muerte. La muerte. Okay? So now that we know our rules, let's go through the whole list out loud together, okay? Hola, como está usted? Muy bien. Y gracias el infierno, la muerte. Okay? Now, let's talk about the letter Y. We haven't talked about the letter Y, but the letter Y is basically exactly the same as the letter I in Spanish. In all pronunciation and all, for all our intents and purposes, you can just pretend that it's an I. The letter I in Spanish is called Y griega, which basically means a Greek I. And it's pronounced the same. So, if we look at the word muy, we see that we have a U and then a Y, but the Y is pretty much like an I. So what we have is a diphthong, okay? They're run together. U, I, muy, muy. They're run together into one sound. Muy, okay? So let's say it out loud. Muy, muy. And then same, bien, and then the letter Y there, that's all by itself, that's a word in and of itself that means and. It's pronounced just like the I in a, e, o, u. So to say and in Spanish, we say what? E, okay? So now we're going to read our Bible verse together because you're going to memorize this verse. And when you memorize this verse, you want to make sure that you're pronouncing it correctly as you memorize it, okay? So now that we know a little bit more about pronunciation, we're going to go up to our memory verse. We've already gone through the list of vocabulary words that you're going to be memorizing this week, 10 words a week. Let's do our memory verse together, okay? This is Revelation 20:14. And why don't I read it for you out loud one time, and then we'll read it together as a class, okay? So it's, y el infierno y la muerte fueron lanzados en el lago de fuego. Esta es la muerte segunda. Okay, you got that? So let's say it together as a class. Let's all repeat it together out loud, okay? And we'll say it very slowly so that you can think about some of these rules and so forth. But it's y el infierno y la muerte fueron lanzados en el lago de fuego. Esta es la muerte segunda. Okay. Now notice the word that starts the second sentence of that verse. What is that? Somebody call out what that word is. Say it out. Say it loud. Esta. Now that's different than the word in our vocabulary list, isn't it? The difference is that there's no accent. So on the word in our vocabulary list, we're pronouncing it esta. The word up in the Bible verse is pronounced esta. See how the accent makes a big difference? And it's a completely different word. It means something completely different. Okay? So let's read the verse together one more time. This time maybe just slightly faster, but let's read it together. Y el infierno y la muerte fueron lanzados en el lago de fuego. Esta es la muerte segunda. Okay? Now let's talk about what the words in the verse mean to help you understand a little bit. Y means what? El infierno means what? Hell. Okay? Y la muerte means what? Death. Okay? And death. Fueron lanzados. Okay? That means were cast. Okay? Were cast en el lago. That means in the lake. De fuego. Of fire. Esta, this is what esta means. Es is la muerte, the death, and then segunda. Okay? This is the second. So it's, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Now, in Spanish, it comes out, and hell and death were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. It really makes no difference. It's just the way the language is. Sometimes when there are this and this, sometimes it gets reversed between Greek and English, between English and Spanish. It just goes with the euphony of the language. And so it basically says the exact, it says the exact same thing in Spanish as it says in English. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Okay? This is a verse that you're going to use out soul winning. And the reason I started with this verse is because it contains a lot of diphthongs. And probably the toughest thing that we're learning about today is accents and diphthongs. And so I chose this verse. This is one of the verses that you're going to show to somebody when you're trying to win them to Christ. You want to show them, the penalty of sin and hell. And so this is a great verse to have memorized, and I'm starting with it because it contains a lot of diphthongs. Let's say it again together. Y el infierno y la muerte fueron lanzados en el lago de fuego. Esta es la muerte segunda. Okay? Now, Iris, go to the piano. Now that we know a little bit more about pronunciation, right? We've learned the rules. We're going to sing the song again now. And I want you to try to put into practice some of the rules that we've gone over about pronunciation. And especially remembering the D sound, the Z sound, the H sound. Okay? So go ahead and cue up the piano. Sing it out of the first verse. Seguridad en Cristo Jesús, gloria prevista con paz y gran luz. Yo fui salvado, Dios me compró, y por su sangre Él me lavó. Gloria cantemos al Redentor, que por nosotros vino a morir, y que la gracia del Salvador siempre proteja nuestro vivir. Su misión grande, gozo total, visiones santas, la falta del mal. Ángeles bajan y traen paz, ecos de gloria, muy gran solaz. Gloria cantemos al Redentor, que por nosotros vino a morir, y que la gracia del Salvador siempre proteja nuestro vivir. Su misión grande en el amor, contentos vamos con el Salvador. Buscamos siempre la salvación en la bondad de la redención. Gloria cantemos al Redentor, que por nosotros vino a morir, y que la gracia del Salvador siempre proteja nuestro vivir. All right, does anybody have any questions? And don't be shy about asking a question. Do you have any questions? Let's look over the pronunciation rules again. H is silent. Everybody got that? Z sounds like S. And by the way, S always sounds like S too in Spanish. So it's never going to make the Z sound that sometimes an S can make in English. It's always going to be a hard S. Whether it's a Z or an S, it's S. Okay? And then the D sounds like TH in the word the. They. The. Okay, that's where you get the D sound in Spanish. Vowel sounds, let's repeat it as a class. A, E, I, O, U. Not you, it's just oo. Okay? So A, E, I, O, U. The accent is on the second to last syllable. Does everybody understand what a syllable is? Everybody got that? You break down a word into syllables based on how many vowel sounds it has, and there are usually a few consonants associated with that, but it's based on how many vowel sounds we have. The diphthongs count as how many syllables? One. A diphthong is one syllable, even though it's two letters. The accent is on the last syllable, unless the word ends in A, E, I, O, U, N, or S. Okay? If it ends in those letters, then the accent falls on the second to last. Any other letter falls on the last syllable. And then the accent marks will override the normal pronunciation rules, right? Whenever you see that accent mark. So, for example, the word that we had earlier. This word, that's not a marker. Let's see here. There we go. This word right here. Okay, if we see that word, the normal pronunciation rule is telling us that because it ends in a vowel, the accent is going to fall on the second to last, which would be esta, right? But as soon as we put an accent mark over it, the accent mark overrides any other rule. When you see an accent mark in a word, you forget the rule. You just put the accent on that accent mark. The rule has no bearing. So you see that, it's esta. Totally different word. This word right here, without the accent mark, esta means this one. Okay, like when it says, this is the second death. Esta es la muerte segunda. Okay, that's this word right here. Esta means
is or are. So let's look at our vocabulary list, and we're going to close with this. We can already put together a little bit of a sentence here from our words in the vocabulary list. Did you notice that? We can actually have a conversation. And so who wants to come up and be a volunteer to have this conversation with me? Brother Dave, you want to come up here? Okay. And you can have this conversation with me. Now, based on these words, I can say to him, Hola. He says to me,
Hola.
Okay. ¿Cómo está usted?
Muy bien.
See, I asked him, how are you? Do you see that on the list? How are you? You say formal. We're going to mainly, in this class, we're going to learn both, but we're going to emphasize the formal because you can't go wrong using the formal. But you may offend somebody if you're talking to an older person and all of a sudden you're walking up to them, hey, what's up, man? You know, what up, dog? And the person's, an older person. So you want to be careful that it's better to err on the side of formality, right? And be more polite than needed. And so when I'm out soul winning, I'm using the usted form. And even if the person uses the to form to me, the familiar tone, I use the usted because I just want to err on the side of caution. Okay? And so we're going to emphasize that in this class, the formal way of speaking. Okay? So I can look at your list there. It says, how are you? Do you see that? So we say, Hola, ¿cómo está usted? And he says,
Muy bien.
Muy bien. He says, very well. So how are you doing? Very well. And then he can even ask me, and you?
You too?
Well, you're...
Usted?
Yeah. Usted? Okay. I know we're friends, but let's keep it formal. Okay. So I say to him, ¿Cómo está usted? And he says to me, Muy bien.
Usted?
¿Y usted? And I say, Bien. Gracias. Right? Thank you for asking, right? So I say, how are you doing? He says, very well. And you? I say, very well. Thank you. Right? So that's what we got a little conversation going. Let's try it again. Hola.
Hola.
¿Cómo está usted?
Muy bien. ¿Y usted?
Muy bien, gracias. So, you see, now you've already learned a little bit of a greeting here, just from the words we had today. And then we learned a few words that are found in our verse, too. And so that's it. Let's go ahead and close our class in a word of prayer, and we'll be dismissed. Father, thank you so much for the time that we had today to study Spanish. And God, I pray that you would bless this class in the 51 weeks that are coming as we learn Spanish for the purpose of giving the gospel to someone in Spanish, for going soul winning, and using the Spanish language to win the many, many people to the Lord in this area who do not speak any English at all. And so I pray that you bless every student here and help us to have the aptitude, give us wisdom and understanding and knowledge, just like you gave Daniel and his 3 friends, to be able to comprehend these concepts and to be able to learn this language. And in Jesus' name we pray, amen. All right.